with the 31 days tarot. Woohoo! All right, so I'm doing day 17 to 24 because I was trying to do like 7 every week, but last week I think I only did 6 or something, 5 or 6. So the first one is show us your tarot journals. I have been terrible about journaling my readings. I do it for a while and then I stop, and then I do it and I stop, and I don't really keep the journals either. It was probably not great. I actually purchased a journal with the intent of a tarot journal, and then I started using it as a bullet journal, and it got a bit out of control. And I have a blog post about it called Why I Had to Say F You to My Bullet Journal. So this was the book I purchased. It had like these lovely, where are they? Grid sheets and things. And as you can see, I tore some pages out because I had bought this book wanting it to be like a tarot journal, like a book of mirrors, right? Like put my tarot readings in and my spell work and things like that. Only, yeah, then I went on Pinterest and I started doing things like a goal map and the 10 level life and a bookshelf and all this stuff. And I was like, I was getting so stressed out about making it perfect and so stressed out about recording everything. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I was intending this for completely something else, and I already have a day planner and now it's out of control. So I've torn out those pages. They look beautiful, but it was like this beautiful flower that's poisonous. So I had to get rid of them. And now it's gonna go back. It's gonna be a tarot journal. So this is my tarot journal, nothing's in it yet because I just tore these pages out recently. So yeah, that's gonna be my tarot journal. And there's nothing in it yet, but soon there will be. The next question is, how do you pick your decks? I usually pick a deck for the month that I work with to read for me, to read for others, but sometimes I'll intuitively get like, oh, this person needs this deck, or I feel like this person would like this, and then I go with that. But I like to kind of pick a theme, like a tarot deck for the month, because then it kind of, you work with them, because if I just pick the same deck all the time, I wouldn't, work with all my decks. So for the week of January, the month of January, I have the Hermetic Tarot. That's the one that I'm using, and I'm really loving this deck. At first I was kind of about it, and then I just started working with it, and it's very thothy and I quite like it. I love the black and white. It's very, very different, so I've been enjoying that. But that's generally how I pick my decks. I have a deck for the month, but if my intuition says no, this person needs that, then that's what I go with. Tarot rituals. I don't really have rituals. When I read for others, I do have, like, there's this cloth that I use. I have crystals that I put out that go with the deck. And then I always tell people shuffle the deck until you feel like you need to stop or something jumps out. And then I always get people to divide the deck into 3 piles and then stack back up however they like. And that's the ritual that I have. And then when I'm done reading for people, I knock the deck. I have like a selenite, a stick of selenite that I rub it with, and I shuffle the deck back up. And I feel like that cleanses its energy. If I really feel that a deck needs like a cleansing, like I don't put it in smoke or anything like that. I don't dedicate decks. I sometimes feel like I should, but I feel like working with them does that. But if I feel like a deck sort of like really needs like a good cleansing, I just put it back in order and let it sit for a while with like a crystal that I feel is compatible with it, and that resets the deck, at least in my mind. So that's what I do. Those are my rituals. Favorite pop culture representation of the tarot. I have to say, and I know it's completely cheesy, but the James Bond movie, what's it called again? And I can't even remember her name, which is so bad that I can see her in my mind. What is her name? It's the one with the woman that plays Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, when she's younger, and she's in the James Bond movie where there's like the voodoo priest or whatever, and she's like this card reader, this intuitive that's forced to read for this bad guy. You know the one I'm talking about. Somebody will put it in the comments. Anyway, I always find that cheesy, but I enjoy it. Other tarot representations, I don't know. Oh, you know what? I also really like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. The tarot in there, that is pretty amazing. and how, I can't remember his name, but this side character makes his own tarot deck. He draws it himself. And then when he goes and sees that that magician, and they all change to the tower, that's pretty cool. So it's, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. So I like it when tarot's portrayed, but I really hate it when like it's portrayed wrong. Unless it's really cheesy, like in James Bond, then that's fine, because it's cheesy. And oh, and then of course The Simpsons. I love where Lisa goes to that fortune teller at the carnival, and she turns over death, and she's like, oh, death, and they're like, no, death isn't bad. And then she changes over this card called the Happy Squirrel, and she's like, oh, the Happy Squirrel. She's like, no, that's bad. So that's another favorite of mine for sure. Do I read the little white books? If it's a little white book, like what comes in these, no, I generally don't. If it's a big guidebook though, yes, I usually do. What I usually do is I read the first part where it's talking usually about, like, you know, the author, how they made the deck, their introduction, you know, their suggestions for spreads and things. I usually read like that first part. And then I find now, like, I don't generally look up the book what the meanings are, because I already know, but I will definitely peruse them. And something like the Dreams of Gaia, which has a completely different system, I do look up the meanings. So it really depends on the deck, and it really depends on the guidebook, whether or not I actually read it or not. Personal use decks. There are some decks that I have that are only personal use. I would say almost all of my tarot cards I would read for someone, depending on the client. You know, like I said, I usually have a deck of the month that I pick to work with, and then if I feel intuitively I need to read a particular one for someone, then I'll pull that out. But there's some decks like the Fallen Angel Oracle I only use for myself, and I have a Chakra Oracle that I only use for myself. So those ones are kind of, those two are kind of personal decks that I really only read for myself with. So I do have the odd one, but most of them, you know, it depends on the person. And then there's daily draw decks like the Wisdom of the Oracle and the Enchanted Map and the Energy Oracle that I pull every day, and those ones as well, I really only use them for myself. So yeah, I do have just personal use decks. All right, number 23 is Fave Tarot Storage. I love when tarot decks come in a box that you can store them in. I do have bags for some of the ones that had flimsier boxes, but actually not my favorite way to store them. My favorite way is like, see, because then they fall over. There, all my decks are falling over. Okay. Like this, like the Dreams of Gaia. It comes in its own beautiful sturdy box with, you can put the book inside, and you've got all the cards, and this is my favorite because it's perfect and it's already packaged beautifully and lovely, and that is my absolute favorite. And I mean, this is like a gorgeous box, especially when the box is amazing and looks wonderful. I have to say Llewellyn has stepped up the game as well, because the Modern Spellcaster also comes in a box that you can store it in. Amazing. I don't have to throw out some flimsy box and then try to find a bag. Yeah, just my favorite way. And then finally, what decks do you wish exist? Ethany had listed as a suggestion a Harry Potter deck. Of course, I would love a Harry Potter deck that was well done. I would buy that in an instant. I would be like, take my money, please give me a Harry Potter deck. I would love a Lord of the Rings deck based on the movie. I would also give away money for that. What else would I like? Oh, I would love a Game of Thrones deck. Yes, please take my money. Anything like that. Oh, I'd love a Jane Austen deck too, like something based on, you know, Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility and Emma and all of her books. That would be amazing. Same as something from the Bronte sisters. Again, so many, all these imaginary decks that I would just love to purchase. So that's my answers for questions 17 to 24 of the 31 Days Tarot Challenge. I'm enjoying seeing people's videos. They're amazing. Let me know if you're doing it too. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.